Alrighty, welcome everybody. Welcome to the 19th episode of the Spin Zone and the second episode for the brand new year. Steve, welcome back.
Hey, thank you for having me. First and foremost, let me apologize for last year. And Montezuma's revenge got me, or something got me. I was praying to the porcelain god. All right.
Man, we thought you had won the lottery or something and left the poor
Don't I
folks
wish? Don't
behind.
I wish you would be the first, second, third, fourth. You would be within my first 10. All right. You like to know. All right. And
I'd
that would
actually be in
be.
a new studio.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would, man. We would be in the new studio, but no, that didn't happen. So, but that's what it was. Did I hear you say this correctly? 19th episode?
Yes, it's the 19th episode, even though we are in week 18, the final week of the football season. So we're
And
counting.
the second for the new year?
Yes, and this is the
Where
second
have I been?
episode. You've been just out and about.
Oh,
Well, one thing's for sure, I'm already looking forward to a break. We've been going at this for
you
a
a
couple of
break from me?
months.
You don't want me on the show anymore, or
No,
what,
no,
man?
no.
Come on.
Just
Hey,
a break before baseball season starts. This jersey, I haven't washed it, so I don't know which one is worse. Is if this jersey is worse or my underwear, one of the two.
oh no, TMI, TMI, TMI.
But
All right, now.
definitely this is going to go in the washer. I haven't washed it all season just so that I don't give out any bad vibes or bad luck or something like that.
I understand. I understand completely, sir. I understand. So, what did you think about the last week's game?
Well, it was a nail biter, that's for sure. I mean, I thought for a minute there we were going to lose, and winning by what we won was, I guess, a win's a win, right?
A
But
win is a win, sir.
it could have gone the
Half a
other
point, 1 point, 3 points, 2 points.
it
A
could have
win
gone
is a
the
win.
it could have gone the other way, and I'm glad that it didn't because Jimmy Johnson's Ring of Honor celebration during halftime would have been an afterthought.
Yes, yes, yes,
The
yes, yes.
Cowboy haters would have been out there, jumping up for joy on social media. You know, they didn't like, the infamous, you know, how about them Cowboys? That
Yep.
old Jimmy, did. I mean, it just sent shivers down their spine. It just gave them bad dreams of the 1990s when they
Yes, it
dominated all the
did.
time. So,
Yes, it did.
so the
And
Cowboy haters were
just like
like, they were just like praying that it wouldn't go the Cowboys' way.
just like he said, right? Those millions of Cowboy fans and the millions and millions of Cowboy haters,
Yep.
right? But you know what? Hey, there are Dallas Cowboys, and they'll be our Dallas Cowboys for life.
Well,
Okay?
one thing's for sure. You know, you definitely, one of the funny things about it is, if you look at the entire league, there's not a football team out there that is followed and hated as much as the Dallas Cowboys. You don't hear anybody, any other team have that following. It seems like the haters follow the Cowboys more than the Cowboy fans do.
I know certain people that are avid non-Dallas Cowboy, all right, and they follow more than the Dallas Cowboy fans. I'm like, hold on now, hold on. Who's your team? And they tell me, all right. So, how do you know the Dallas Cowboys running back, quarterback, tailback, fullback, center, guard? You know, they know all the team members, but
I
they're not a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm like, things that make you go, hmm.
Yeah,
And then they tell me their team, and I'll be honest with you, I know nothing about it.
right.
Right?
Andan
You
en
know,
todo menos misa.
there we go.
You know.
All right. But they swear left and right. They don't like the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm like, well, you certainly know a whole bunch of history of the Dallas Cowboys for somebody
Yep.
that doesn't like them. But that's
Exactly.
all good.
Exactly. It's kind of funny. They O más andan, they don't like them, but they sure follow them. That's for sure.
Yes,
You
sir.
know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I saw on last week's post that somebody was asking for me.
Yes, I can't remember who it was, but yes, they were actually missing you, and so
Right. Well, all right. Hey, so
I had
see,
to let them
I
know that you
become
were under the weather.
I became a little celebrity here. Hey, man.
Yep,
So,
you got
maybe
a cult following.
maybe Elon Musk will call me up and go do the Starbase,
I
huh?
know,
You know.
right?
Oh, you never
Yeah,
know,
you,
man.
you
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 never
could be
know.
out there and fill in for the other correspondents that are missing in action. You know.
Oh, missing in action. All right. Who also, also. All right.
Ay
I'll
ay
never take
ay.
anybody's place. All right. Like,
You
you
know.
know.
Well, it'll be a while, that's for sure, before there's a launch. So,
All
there's some
right.
talk
Cool.
about the
Awesome.
end of the
Awesome.
month.
Awesome.
There's some talk about next month. Somebody that, I've got a few internal contacts sent me a picture of what the second launch tower that they're building is going to look like. It's going to be close by the other one. So,
All right.
yeah,
Cool.
it'll be
Awesome.
interesting. But we're here to talk about the final game between the Dallas
Woohoo!
Cowboys and the Washington Commanders, previously known as the Redskins. I know that's not a
Yes, sir.
popular term, my friends on the left don't want to hear the term Redskins, but
Mhm.
I'll go ahead and play nice and okay, I'll let them have the name Commanders. So, but the game's scheduled for this Sunday, January 7th, 3:25, and I can say that it is on Fox
All right.
for
Are you sure?
certainty. Yes,
All right.
definitely it is going to be on Fox. So, for those of you watching here locally, it's going to be on channel 48 off the air, of course. I believe that it's channel what, 6 on Spectrum?
Six.
Yeah.
Six on Spectrum.
Yeah. So, for those of you on Spectrum, channel 6, and for those like me that snatch stuff over the air, it's on channel 48.
There we go. There we go.
So basically, just a few highlights. The Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders are meeting for the second time this year. The Cowboys have an 11-5 record going into this game. The Commanders have a pretty dismal record. They've had a pretty bad year. Their record is 4-12. And of course, as to be expected, the Cowboys are favored to win this game.
But you do know that with that record, huh? The Cowboys have lost to teams that haven't won any games, and they're favored to win by 1,000 points, and they lose.
I know, and it's it's
Hey,
it's it's a matter of cockiness and hunger by the other side that is willing to do anything to prove that they can beat a better team. So the Cowboys
yes,
need to be aware of that. They need to not do what they've done in the past.
right.
Take everything for granted. And we've seen that happen time and time and time again.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes.
it should be a game they should easily win, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't happen. So, our hope and our prayers are that they, step it up and don't. I don't want to see a 1 point win this Sunday,
No,
but
sir, no, sir, no, sir.
I'll take it. I'll take it if that's what it takes, but
Right,
I
right,
really
right,
don't
right,
want to
right.
see it. So, but anyway, for those of you that love a little bit of history, as I mentioned, they have played before earlier this year. They played back in last month. I'm sorry, back in November on the 23rd, and at that time, Dallas beat the Commanders 45-10. Prior to that, they had played on January 8th, 2023. And that one, the Commanders actually won that game 26-6. Prior to that, they had played them in October 2nd of
Prior to
2022.
that, they had played them in October 2nd of 2022.
I think
Yeah,
that's
oh, mine, sorry.
yeah.
I muted it.
Okay. And October 2nd, and the Cowboys won that game 25-10. And then prior to that, in 2021, they played them the day after Christmas, and the Cowboys won that game 56-14. That was a blowout. And then a couple of days prior, on December 12th of that same year, the Cowboys played the Washington football team before they were known as the Commanders,
Yes,
and they
sir.
won that game 27-20.
Is the head coach still Ron Rivera?
You know what? I didn't check it out. If you know who the head coach was, to be honest with you, this game, I'm kind of seeing it as a yawner because I'm taking it for granted. You
No,
know,
don't do that.
I know.
Don't do that.
So I didn't do as much research when it came to Washington. It's kind of like, bad team, should be a piece of cake. So I didn't really do a whole lot of research when it came to the coaching staff. But I may come back and have to eat my words. So, but let's see here. We are still keeping track of the injury trackers, of course, this late in the process, and Dallas has got a few guys still out. Dorrance Armstrong, the defensive end, he's out with an ankle injury. Brandon Cooks, wide receiver, he's on bed rest. Rico Dowdle, he's got an ankle injury still that he's nursing. Vilami Fukoko, he's a defensive end. He's got a knee injury. Stephon Gilmore, cornerback, he's on bed rest. Jonathan Hankins, defensive tackle, he's got a knee ankle injury. Malik Hooker, safety, bed rest. Demarcus Lawrence, defensive end, bed rest. Jordan Lewis, cornerback, bed rest. Hunter Lupke, he's got a thigh injury. He's running back. Zach Martin, guard, bed rest. Tyler Smith, foot. Tyrone Smith, bed rest. And Wanye Thomas, defensive back. He's got some undisclosed illness. Maybe COVID for all we know. So, all righty. And of course, on the Washington side, we've got Jonathan Allen, defensive tackle, knee injury. Jacoby Brissett, quarterback, hamstring injury. Tariq Castro Fields, I wonder if he's related to Erasmo.
Hey, maybe.
Maybe. He's got a shoulder injury. Cam Curl, safety, quad. You've got Kendall Fuller and Christian Holmes, cornerbacks. They've got knee and concussions. Quan Martin, defensive back, chest injury, whatever that means. John Ridgway, defensive tackle, foot injury. Curtis Samuel, wide receiver, hamstring. Benjamin St. Just, cornerback, he's got a concussion. Casey Tuhill, defensive end, shoulder injury. And Andrew Wiley, offensive tackle, he's got an elbow injury. So they've got quite a bit of injuries on their side as well. But really, what we're kind of now focusing our attention to is obviously the playoff picture. And I'll be honest with you, I am going to try extremely hard to make sense of it. I thought I had a good feel for it last night, but as we spoke about earlier, it's very, very confusing as to how
Yes,
these
it is.
teams. So I'm actually going to go through the process or the scenarios that some of the experts are thinking. So we're going to start off with this, graphic that shows the teams that have actually secured a playoff berth on each side. You've got Jacksonville, Cleveland, Baltimore. Baltimore and San Francisco obviously have a bye week because they are at the top of their league, their division on each side. So you've got Kansas City and Buffalo, Miami, Indiana. You've got Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, Detroit, the LA Rams, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Green Bay Packers. And basically, I kind of went out and borrowed some graphics from the NFL.com. So if the YouTube
Sir.
police have a cow, That's where I got it from, and I've given the NFL credit. But basically, these are the teams, as I mentioned in the last graphic, that have secured a playoff spot. That includes the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Browns. On the AFC side, the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Lions, the Eagles, and the Rams on the NFC side. And of course, in the hunt, these are the teams that are in the hunt to try to make it into the playoffs. You've got the Jaguars, the Bills, the Colts, the Buccaneers, and the Packers. And on the bubble, these are the ones that are trying to play the spoilers, obviously. You've got the Texans, the Steelers, the Seahawks, the Saints, the Vikings, and the Falcons. It's really the first time that you've had a large number of teams since I can't remember what year it was.
Right.
So it's a pretty huge amount of teams out there right now with the potential to make it. And of course, for those that are interested in who got eliminated, the Broncos, the Bengals, the Raiders, the Jets, the Titans, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Bears, the Giants, the Commanders, the Cardinals, and the Panthers have all been eliminated completely. So basically, before we go through the actual schedule, well, we can go through the schedule and then we'll talk about some of the uh, scenarios, what we call the clinching scenarios. But basically, these are the big dates coming up for the playoff schedule. So you've got the wild card round dates, which starts on January 13th. You've got the first matchup at 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and that'll be on NBC Peacock. And then that same day at 8:15, you're going to have another wild card matchup on the Peacock Network. And then on Sunday, you're going to have, on the 14th, you're going to have the first matchup at 1 p.m., the second matchup on that same day at 4:30 p.m. Third matchup is at 8:15 p.m.
At night.
Yep, at night. And then on Monday the 15th, you'll have the last wild card matchup at 8:15 p.m. And then once that happens, then you go over to the divisional rounds, and those are held on the 20th. On that day, and then of course for the same thing on the 21st, you'll have those divisional matchups, and then you'll have the conference championship on the 28th for the AFC and the NFC. One starts at 3 p.m. and the other one starts at 6:30 p.m. But basically, as I mentioned, there's definitely 20 teams in total that remain in playoff contention, which means they've got an opportunity entering into week 18 as potentially making it into the playoffs. This actually ties with 2006 of having the most teams alive and for the potential to be in the playoffs. And there's a couple of scenarios that would change the dynamics. Obviously, looking at the Detroit Lions, which have an 11-5 record, the Lions have clinched their division, the NFC North, and a playoff berth. They will be the number 2 seed with a win over Minnesota, plus losses and ties by both Dallas and Philadelphia, or with a tie, plus losses by the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Yes.
Otherwise, if none of that happens, Detroit will be the number 3 seed. The Dallas Cowboys, they've also clinched a playoff berth. They will clinch the NFC East title with a win over Washington on Sunday, or with an Eagles loss to the Giants, or ties with both games. Dallas will clinch the number 2 seed in the playoffs with a win, or with losses by both Eagles and Lions, or with a tie. An Eagles loss or a tie, or an Eagles or a Lions loss with a tie. So that could be another scenario for the Dallas Cowboys, obviously. And
We
then
hope it doesn't go there.
hopefully not, right? Then you've got the Eagles. They also have an 11-5 record. They also clinched a playoff schedule, right? Playoff berth. They will clinch the NFC East title and the number 2 if they win over the Giants, plus if the Cowboys lose, obviously, or if there's a tie. Philadelphia will be the number 2 seed if they win, and that is pending a Cowboys loss, right?
Yes,
Or a Lions
yes.
loss or a tie with Minnesota. So it's kind of confusing, but it is what it is. So Green Bay, they've got an 8-8 record. They will clinch. They will clinch a playoff berth with a win over the Bears. Uh, Sorry, Manny, on the mic, but your Bears are probably going to lose that one. That's in case you're watching, which he does from time to time. There are other scenarios involving a Green Bay tie. The Packers will clinch a playoff berth with losses if Minnesota and Seattle. Plus, if there's a loss by the Saints or the Buccaneers. So they would be the number 6 seed with a win, plus a Los Angeles Rams loss to the San Francisco 49ers, which the Rams will probably lose to San Francisco more than likely.
But San Francisco doesn't play.
Right. They don't. But according to the experts, I don't know why they mentioned that, but they did. So I'm going to go with the experts.
All right. All right.
I'm
All right.
not the expert. Minnesota, 7-9. The Vikings will clinch the number 7 seed with a win over the Lions, plus losses by the Packers or the Seahawks, plus a loss for the Bucks or the Saints. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have an 8-8 record. They can clinch the NFC South title and the number 4 seed if they beat the Carolina Panthers, or with a tie with a tie. Plus, that also depends if New Orleans loses or ties with the Falcons. They can also clinch a playoff berth and become the number 7 seed with a tie, and pending a Seattle loss to the Arizona Cardinals or the Packers loss or a tie. It's very difficult to keep track of all of this.
I'm
There's actually,
confused, but you know
I
what?
am
It's okay.
confused.
As long as my Cowboys,
I thought I had it down. I really thought I had it down Thursday night. And then I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. Something, in my dream said, no, you don't have it down. You've only got a little picture of it. So you need to go back and look at what the experts are saying. So I'm kind of just throwing this out because until this week is over, it's not going to get very clear, and it won't be clear,
right,
So I've kind of said, okay, whatever, we'll go ahead and there's too many teams and there's too many scenarios. There's 20 teams. I mean, anything can happen at this point. So
right now, what I know for sure is if the Dallas Cowboys win, regardless if Philadelphia wins, they're still number two,
yeah, yeah.
right?
So
However, if the Dallas Cowboys lose, Philadelphia wins. Philadelphia takes that spot, right? And the Dallas Cowboys takes the Philadelphia Eagles spot,
right,
right?
right.
Right? And that's all I'm concerned about.
You don't care about anybody else.
No, it's a spin zone. The Dallas Cowboys spin zone. So, like, all
I
right.
know, but we're getting to a point where we got to cover the others, a little
Yes,
bit.
sir. Yes, sir.
Atlanta, they've got a 7-9 record. The Falcons could clinch the NFC South title and become the number 4 seed if they have a win over the Saints and the Buccaneers actually lose to the Panthers. So the LA Rams, they've got a 9-7 record. They have clinched a playoff berth. They will be the number 6 seed with a win or a tie against the 49ers. Or
What
with
is
a
the Rams record?
9-7.
Oh, all right.
Or if the Packers lose or there's a tie. Los Angeles will be the number 7 seed with a loss plus a Packers win. The Seahawks, they've got an 8-8 record. The Seahawks will clinch the number 7 seed with a win over the Cardinals. Plus, if the Packers lose or tie. or with a tie plus losses by both the Packers and the Bucks, a tie plus a Packers loss and a Saints loss. And that's the NFC. The AFC clinching scenarios. The Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins have clinched a playoff berth. They will clinch the AFC title and the number 2 seed with a win against Buffalo. Otherwise, Miami ends up being the number 6 seed. The Buffalo Bills, 10 to 6, they will clinch the NFC title and become a number 2 with a win over the Dolphins. They will clinch a playoff berth with a tie or with a Pittsburgh Steelers loss, or a tie with the Baltimore Ravens, or with Jacksonville losing against the Tennessee Titans, or with the Houston Texans and an Indianapolis tie.
Man,
Yep, it's very, very confusing. The Bills will be eliminated from the playoff contention with a loss, plus wins by the Texans, the Jaguars, and the Steelers, or with a loss plus wins by the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Steelers. The Steelers have a 9-7 record. They could clinch a playoff berth with a win over the Ravens, plus if Buffalo loses to the Dolphins, or with a win plus a Jaguar loss against the Titans, or win a win plus a Texans Colts tie, or with a tie plus the Jaguars loss. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, all the different scenarios. Jacksonville Jaguars 9-7. They can clinch the AFC South title and become the number 4 seed if they win over the Titans, or with a tie plus a Texans Colts tie. The Jaguars could clinch a playoff berth and become the number 7 seed with a tie plus a Steelers loss, or with a Steelers loss. Denver Broncos lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, or a non-tie result in the Texas Colts game. And then the Indianapolis Colts have a 9-7 record. They can clinch the AFC title and become the number 4 seed with the win over the Texans, plus if the Jaguars lose, or if there's a tie against the Titans, or with a tie plus a Jaguars loss. Indianapolis clinches a playoff berth with a win or with a tie plus a Steelers loss. So there's a lot of possibilities for some of these teams that want to become spoilers. And lastly, the Houston Texans with a 9-7 record. The Texans can clinch the AFC South title and the number 4 seed with a win over Indianapolis, plus if the Jaguars lose, or if there's a tie against the Titans. The Texans will clinch a playoff berth also with a win or a tie plus a Jaguars loss plus a Steelers loss. So lots of possibilities because there's so many
yes, sir.
teams, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the next couple of days. But it should become clearer for everybody. I do not know how any one individual could sit the entire day this weekend to watch all these games. I know that I won't be able to, even if I wanted to. So we're just going to have to wait and let the dust settle, after Sunday, and hopefully it'll
Well, on
become clear.
Sunday we'll know.
On Sunday, we will know. It'll be a lot clearer, you know. And of
Why do you have
course,
Legion Stadium there?
well, Allegiant Stadium is in Las Vegas, and that is where the Super Bowl will be held. It will be held in Las Vegas, and it'll be held on Sunday, February 11th, and it will start at 6:30 p.m. And I can say with confidence that you'll be able to watch it on CBS. That is Channel 4 for those of you rich folks on Spectrum. And for the poor folks like me that get everything off the air, it's 23-2.
Wow.
So that is where we are at. And we are
Super
hoping
Bowl what?
Super Bowl. Oh my God. Why did you ask me that? I can't remember what it was.
Come
Ay, ay.
on.
I never,
You're the one with the. calculus and all that. Come
I
on
know,
now.
but I never did well with Roman numerals. I assume it's 58. I don't know.
I
Probably
thought it was
is.
53, but I don't know.
No, is it 58 or 53?
I have no idea.
Isn't that a
I thought
isn't the L a 10, the V a 5 and the ones? I don't
oh,
know, but I never did well with Roman numerals, so, you know. But yeah, that's where it's at
mm,
Allegiant
mm, mm,
Stadium
mm.
in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, we don't get our flights from Brownsville to Las Vegas until
Right,
March again.
right. Hey,
So,
we just got a comment on Facebook. I just saw it. All right,
yeah.
Mr. Genaro Gutierrez de Leon. What's up, buddy? Hey, he's a hard earth. So,
Ah.
welcome to the Dallas Cowboy Spin Zone. He's a proud 45 guy.
Ah, okay. Well, he should be
So, hey,
watching some of our other shows.
yes, he would. Yes, he should. And I
Yeah.
don't thank you for joining us. Mm.
Well, definitely, that's where we're at. And like I said, I tried my very best tonight to try to go through some of those scenarios, as confusing as it was, because it was confusing. It had been bothering me all night because, like I told you, Thursday night, I thought, oh, I've got this. I know exactly how this is all going to
And
work.
no, you don't.
And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, no, I don't. And so I had to go back and go through the scenarios again. But I'm not even gonna try to think I know which scenarios are gonna be which, because I could be completely wrong.
Right,
And of
right, right,
course,
right,
the
right. You
Cowboys
know,
definitely will, could surprise us as well. So we may be talking about everyone else after Sunday. Hopefully not.
hey, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Right?
So
Have faith, my friend. Have faith.
I know. But all righty. Well, everybody, this was it for this week's episode, and we'll be back next week to get a better picture of the playoff schedule, and who's in and who's out. Steve, it was great to have you back. I'm glad that you're feeling better. I
Oh,
was
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir. I'm
was
here. All
I
right.
was
Hey, and we'll do this again next week.
I was really hoping you had won the lottery, but I guess better luck next time for you and me.
Sorry to disappoint, but hey, I did go out and play, but
Yeah.
I didn't win.
No, no, no. All righty. All righty,
Mhm.
everybody. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Adios,
And
people.
thank you, those that tuned in and commented as well. You're free to comment at any time, which a lot of times we don't mention that the comments is open. We just don't necessarily display them because we try to control the comments for some of the trolls out there and the cowboy
Yes, sir.
haters. So, alrighty, everybody. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next week.